Hey everybody, Sarah here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video. This we cannot talk about friendship and community without answering or talking about the infamous question, can men and women really just be friends? And I know a lot of people have a lot of varying opinions and viewpoints on this, so I'm just going to share my opinion on it and just shed some wisdom about it. And I kind of went into this on the Guarding Your Heart video from last year, but I'm just going to go more in depth about it now. And it's really not a matter of can men and women just be friends, but it's really a matter of should men and women just be friends. And I think we use the term friend way too loosely. My Bible defines friend as an intimate associate. And obviously, you don't have to be physical with somebody to be intimate with them. And we've all probably heard intimacy defined as into me I see. So really what that means is just really being completely open with another person, being vulnerable with them literally seeing every part of you, seeing into you literally. So when you're intimate with somebody, that means again that you're open with them, that you're vulnerable with them, that you spend a lot of time with them, that you're personal, that you're comfortable with them because you've spent so much time with them. And of course, when you're comfortable with somebody, the more you kind of share information with them that everybody doesn't know about you. And that's even true of same-sex friendships. So it's not any different from opposite sex friendships. So why would you want to be intimate with somebody of the opposite sex who's not your spouse or someone who you're not in a committed relationship with? And I know this firsthand. As a teenager, I was friends with this dude who just so happened to be my neighbor. And over the summer, we, as a way to keep in contact with each other, we exchanged phone numbers because obviously you're not going to be at the bus stop every day anymore. You're not going to be seeing each other in school anymore. So just as a way to kind of keep the friendship going or whatever, we exchanged phone numbers. And I initially, honestly, did not have feelings for homeboy. I mean, I can't speak for him, but if he had an ulterior motive, but I was not feeling him like that. He was legit just a guy to me. But when we started talking over the phone on a regular basis, something shifted, y'all. And again, the more time that you spend with somebody, the more comfortable you get with them and you begin to open up to them and the connection is formed, and that's exactly what happened. An attraction was formed between the two of us because we were talking so much and sharing so much information with each other that other people didn't know about us. We were intimate with each other as teenagers, but there was never a commitment between the two of us. Therefore, there was no purpose to us talking that much and that intimately. It was ultimately just a hot mess, y'all. As so many of us desire to be married one day, would you be comfortable with your spouse's best friend being somebody of the opposite sex? I'm gonna go ahead and answer that and say no. So what's the benefit or what's the purpose of being intimate with somebody of the opposite sex now as a single, sharing intimate details of your life, just in essence giving away pieces of your heart that should only be reserved for your spouse? There is no need for somebody of the opposite sex who's not your spouse or potential spouse to be intimate with you in that way, knowing everything about you, your current struggles, and even all of your past struggles. You know, knowing your all of your experiences, all of your mistakes, what all of your hopes and your dreams are. There's no need for them to know everything about you. Everybody don't need to know everything. And I really think that it's a matter of guarding your heart and their heart, which is really the first point that I want to drive home, is not just looking out for your own best interest, but since you are my brother or my sister in Christ, I want to make sure that your heart is guarded against you ever feeling romantic towards me because of how we interact and converse with each other. And of course, we can't control how they think or feel, but we can control how we interact with them to make sure that we're not potentially leading them on and giving them a reason to like us. Because if you really think about it, when you're pursuing a romantic relationship with somebody, the more you know about them, the more you like them, right? So why are we surprised when people of the opposite sex start liking us when we done told them everything about us? What do you expect to happen? So, I mean, there are so many couples that have ended up married because they were best friends beforehand. I mean, look at Preston and Jackie Hill Perry. They were friends for 2-3 years before they ever pursued a romantic relationship. Probably because they were best friends for so many years and they were like, wait a minute, he's kind of cute. Like, you'd start seeing them differently because you start spending so much time with them and you get to start to like them more. So if we're only brothers and sisters in Christ, then we should conduct ourselves as such and pattern the relationship as such. I mean, biblically speaking, there are no accounts of men and women friendships. It's either a husband and a wife or a same-sex friendship, such as, David and Jonathan. I mean, Paul mentions Phoebe once in Romans 16 because she apparently helped him in his ministry in some way. But other than that, again, it's only husband and a wife or same-sex friendship. Since the Bible does not give us any examples of men and women friendships, as a single, we really need to focus on building same-sex friendships. And that should be our focus of where we spend our time and our energy. And that's the second point that I really want to drive home. And a lot of people say that they get along better with members of the opposite sex more than they do their own sex. But can we just keep it real and clarify and just say that that's an excuse to not build any solid friendships and relationships with the same sex based out of fear and based out of a past negative experience? Not all women are catty. Not all women gossip. Not all women are backbiters, or not all men, or whatever. You can't base the now and the present based off of something that happened 10 years ago. And that even goes for a romantic relationship, but that's another video. Ultimately, men and women should not be intimate associates or friends just as a way to guard each other's hearts. As a single, again, we really need to focus our time and our energy on building solid friendships with those of the same sex, where we can be open and vulnerable with them, where we can push each other closer to Jesus and look more like him. So don't get me wrong. Of course, men and women can live in community together. They can work together, do business together, do ministry and all those things together, and it be nothing more, as long as there are boundaries in place, which is the last thing that I want to focus on. So it is very important to have boundaries with the opposite sex as single, and even if you're married, really, so that nobody gets confused and no lines get crossed. It is so easy for emotional lines to get crossed, again, if you're not guarding your heart and if you don't have those boundaries in place. And it's important to have the boundaries in place before you need them. So a potential boundary that you can have is to limit the conversation so that it doesn't get too personal and intimate. For example, if Andre and I are meeting about SWP, that's what we're talking about. We are talking about SWP. Okay, how are you doing with this video? Are you on schedule with this? That's what we're talking about. And if the conversation does veer from SWP, it's still nothing personal. It is nothing intimate. For example, Andre's in grad school. So if he's telling me that he's struggling with his schedule, okay, here are some time management tips. Here are some study tips, because I've already graduated from grad school, so I can give him that wisdom that can help him. He does not know the intimate details of my life, and vice versa. You can, again, work in business and ministry and school together and not share all of your business with that person and be intimate with them. And if you're in a relationship or if you're married, be accountable to your significant other, or even have them join in on the conversation. I've even heard Kevin Fredericks say before that if he's doing business or something like that with a woman, he will have his wife join in on the conversation, even if it's a text message. And some people say that that's too deep, but we have to be serious about guarding our heart. We cannot give Satan any open doors, whether we're single or in a God-honoring, committed relationship. And another potential boundary to have is to limit in-person meetings to a group setting or to something in a public setting. So if there's any chance that I need to meet, or any reason that I need to meet with Andre or another brother for something, for any reason, it's not just going to be the two of us. If my mom or my brother aren't home, or if sister so-and-so can't come with us, guess what? Sorry, you're not coming over either. And vice versa. That's just a personal boundary that I have, that I will not go to a man's house, or he cannot come over to my house if it's just going to end up being the two of us. And again, that goes whether you're single or in a committed relationship. It's a matter, again, of guarding your heart and not giving Satan any open doors. And we need to remember, ladies, that men think differently than we do, and vice versa. Just because you're just friends in your mind and you don't see them in a romantic way does not mean that they see you in the same way. Again, we can't control how they think and they feel, but we can control how we interact with them. So again, I know that a lot of people have a lot of varying opinions and viewpoints on this, but this was just me sharing the wisdom that I have on this topic, and I pray that me sharing my wisdom on this will help you guide your friendships and your relationships with the opposite sex in the future. So until the next video, grace and peace.
Friendships should cause you to be blessed, cause you to shine. Your friendships should bring the best out of you. They should strengthen you. In other words, a friend causes you to do better and to be better.